All right, guys, welcome back to W.D.Y.D CSP. What do you do as a central store processor? Guys, I have a really good one for you, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so what's going on? So, you walk into Decon, you open up a case cart, and this is what you see. Never seen this instrument in your life. And you're wondering, first, what the heck is it? And two, how do I clean it? Well, the easy answer is always check the IFU. The easiest answer. Call someone in leadership, senior tech, supervisor, manager. Hey, this was brought down from the OR like this. I've never seen this before. What do I do? How do I clean it? Are these disposable? What's the deal? Well, one thing I will say, guys, is I don't believe in calling any instrument complex. It's just unfamiliar to you. Think about that new cell phone. You know, cell phones come out every year, upgraded, different, more cameras, more features. But do we ever call them complex? We just tinker with them, right? Dude, does anybody ever read the little manual that comes with their cell phones? No, we just open it up and we start playing with it. Now, yeah, we learn about different features of them, about those phones later on, and be like, oh, I didn't know it had that feature. But it doesn't stop us from learning it, right? We still play. We still play with it and tinker. I'm going to say the same thing with instrumentation. Guys, you cannot be afraid to grab a brand new instrument and try to figure it out. Sometimes using a little bit of common sense goes a long way. Like I see these little caps here, right? These caps look like the caps right here, right? So if these are off, I'm going to assume that these come off. And then if I look at this really good, I see that there's threads in there, right? So I'm going to try to unthread this. Oh, look at that. It comes off, right? Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for all of them, right? Don't be afraid to tinker. Now, this is an instrument I've never seen before. I seen it, I was intrigued, and I was able to grab one. So I said, hey, I'm going to play with it before I open up the IFU and find out. Now, when I originally grabbed it, I didn't have everything that you see here. There was a couple pieces missing that I wind up going back and grabbing. I said, hey, you know something? I've seen those pieces. I want them because I want to be able to show people this. So I looked at this and I said, hey, this looks like another instrument that I've seen, just a whole lot bigger, because I've seen this piece. So I know this piece goes in there somehow. So I started playing around and I'm like, okay, so how else do I take this apart? And I was playing around with it and I felt some leeway. And this is things that you guys should be doing as well. So I knew this piece doesn't move and I tried. So I grabbed this piece and I was like, oh, that moves. So what did that loosen up? It wound up loosening up this cap. So before I moved any further, I said, okay, so does this fit in there? And I did. And I was like, oh, so this is how it goes into the patient, right? And yes, it's for what you think it is. It's going to open you up real good. Okay, and once it's in there, I'm very familiar with the use of trocars and the inserts. And I know that gives you a view into the patient, right? So this piece here goes in. So I was like, okay, so this piece has to be for the scope. And I do have the scope that goes in there, locks in place. So I was like, interesting. So then I started playing a little bit more and I said, oh, this got some give. What else moves? And I seen that. And I seen this. Now, this looks like a nut to me. So I was like, oh, that turns. And when I played, I said, oh, that comes apart. So I was like, okay, does it come apart any further? And I was playing and moving. I said, okay, so this is the most I can take this apart. All right, so I'm going to put that to the side. This is an easy clean. It's just a cylinder, outer surface. This is an easy clean. It's one solid piece. These are easy cleans. It already has a little basket. You just want to do some little scrubbing, get in those little grooves. This right here, I was like, okay, I see a little O-ring here. I know I can take this off because most O-rings can come off. So you want to get in between there to clean. So this was pretty easy, a little bit of moving parts. But I wasn't sure about this rubber piece. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to look at. And I started seeing like little screws and little hinges there. And I was like, this has to come off somehow. And I just wind up pressing to the side and look at that. That piece came off nice and easy. So now I said, okay, now I have surfaces to clean, brushes, little rings here that I can clean off, a moving part that I need to pay attention to. So these two pieces, easy to clean as well. This one here, a lot of moving parts here. Not a lot, but enough that I can say, okay, there can be some debris trapped between the base and the ring. And then there's these three little bolts here, right? These three little moving bolts. So I want to pay close attention to that for any soil. The moving part here, I want to make sure that whatever opens and closes, like you can see a gap form inside there and close, I want to spray that really, really good. Have this submerged under chemical to loosen up those soils and get a nice little sprayer. Brush those areas there. Brush in between anything that has little joints or any close, and kind of like see that little close gap right there. When I get in between there, open that up. Clean the handle real good, and there's a flush port there. So you want to make sure that you flush that and brush it if you can get a brush down there, right? So pretty easy. That was there. That was this. So then I thought to myself, okay, I was able to take it apart. Can I put it back together? I believe this is a very important part of our job, is that we need to know how to assemble and disassemble some of the parts, because let's be real. How many places have you gone to, or how many facilities have you worked in where some of the devices have to be assembled for sterilization, even though our IFUs say disassemble for sterility or disassemble before sterilizing, but the facility policy changes and say that the item should be assembled before packaging, right? And what is that for? Let's be honest. That's because the OR doesn't want to take the time to assemble a piece. So it's good to know to do it, because it may come a point where you decide you're going to do the right thing, but the OR is kind of left a little bit confused and you have to show the OR how to do it. So I was like, okay, let me try to put this together. So I looked at this piece and I seen that there is a big wedge, a small wedge, and it's just a matching game. Big wedge, small wedge, insert, turn to lock in place. And then I said, okay, I can either have this piece here and lock that into place and it's ready for the patient, or I can have this piece put on here and it's already inside the patient and I'm ready to do my observation. Okay, but I also need to place this piece on here if I'm going to use instrumentation, right? And this kind of pushes in there. I'm sorry, off camera. This kind of slides in, push in until you hear click. It's locked into place. And then you have the different size caps that you can put in there. Different color codes, maybe for different size instrumentation or types of device. So bigger holes, bigger instruments, right? So that was pretty cut and dry. So it has much larger hose for, I guess, instruments that are certain diameters. So there you have it, guys. Don't be afraid to play with an instrument that you're not familiar with. You'd be surprised at how much you learn. As always, guys, stay true to yourselves. Keep it 100. Keep educating yourself. And peace.